afternoon. 71 today for the beaches. Downtown should be 79 degrees, 85 in the San Fernando Valley, 85 here in the high desert. Inland Empire all the way up to 87 degrees. Orange County inland at 78 degrees. Jessica.
We begin this hour with breaking news. Federal authorities have announced the arrest of a suspect in connection with the Palisades fire. They say he is linked to 2 fires, including one about a week before the Palisades fire started. KTLA's Carlos Ferreira live now in downtown LA with the latest. Carlos, good morning.
Good morning. And the arrest being announced just minutes ago here in downtown LA, months after that deadly Palisades fire. Federal and local law enforcement leaders saying that they hope this arrest certainly brings some closure to all of the impacted families. And as you mentioned, of course, it is the same suspect that was connected to another blaze, an investigation in this area as well. Take a look. This is the photo of that suspect, 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht, a former Pacific Palisades resident who currently lives in Florida. He has been arrested on a criminal complaint charging him with intentionally starting what later became the Palisades fire in January. That complaint alleging that an agitated Rinderknecht was actually Uber driving the night of New Year's Eve. He drove towards the area of School Rock Trailhead. He parked his car there and then tried to contact a former friend.
He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire. The defendant had listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire.
And prosecutors allege that Rinderknecht later called 911 a few times, didn't get through. He finally connected and was at the bottom of the hiking trail and reported the fire. He then fled in his car. He passed fire engines that were driving in the opposite direction. He then turned around and actually followed the fire engines back to the scene. Officials say Rinderknecht walked up that same trail to watch the fire and record even more videos. Now, you may remember Rinderknecht was actually previously the subject of the fire investigation earlier, but reportedly lied to law enforcement about that blaze. He claimed he was nowhere near the fire that was extinguished by firefighters, but continued to burn underground. A week later, the wind caused the underground fire to rekindle and spread above ground, eventually turning into one of the most destructive fires in LA history, causing death and, of course, widespread destruction. The arrest coming months after that. You can see officials say they recovered all sorts of evidence in this case from Rinderknecht, especially his digital devices, including this image that he generated on ChatGPT depicting a burning city.
I know this community has endured a long wait for answers. Families have carried an unmanageable grief, and an entire community has been left to heal while living with questions. Although we cannot share every detail of this investigation, it is still an active investigation, and judicial proceedings remain ahead. I can tell you this: from day one, ATF and our partners have been relentless. We made a promise to find answers, and we have kept that promise.
Frank and Jessica Rinderknecht is expected to make his initial court appearance later today in Orlando, Florida. If convicted, he could face up to 20 years in federal prison. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Carlos, thank you for that. Former FBI Director James Comey appeared in court this morning to be arraigned on charges that he lied to Congress. KTLA's Trevor Shirley live in Washington, D.C. with more on this. Trevor, good morning.
Frank, good morning to you as well. Comey's appearance was brief as he entered a plea of not guilty. A former FBI director arrived at that federal courthouse in Virginia earlier today. He was there with family members, including his daughter, who served as a federal prosecutor, but who was recently forced out of her job by the Trump administration. The Justice Department accuses Comey of lying to Congress during testimony he gave in 2020. Comey, who President Trump fired during his first term, has become a vocal critic of the president. His indictment came after President Trump publicly pushed Attorney General Pam Bondi to charge Comey with a crime, and just days before the statute of limitations for an indictment was set to expire. The judge overseeing the case was randomly chosen and is an appointee of President Joe Biden. President Trump, though, has already referred to that judge as a, quote, crooked Joe Biden appointed judge, potentially jeopardizing the government's ability to see the case through if it's determined the president's comments prevent Comey from getting a fair trial. Comey has denied any wrongdoing. A judge earlier today setting Comey's trial date for January 5th. That's the latest here in Washington. We'll send it back to you guys in L.A.
Trevor, thank you. Members of the Texas National Guard expected to begin their assignments as early as today. This comes as the Trump administration intensifies immigration enforcement operations. President claims the troops are needed to help reduce rampant crime, something that troops are barred from doing under federal law, as well as protect federal agents and facilities. However, the president is considering invoking the Insurrection Act to grant the military civilian law enforcement powers. The deployment includes 200 Texas troops, along with about 300 from Illinois. Tomorrow, a federal judge is scheduled to issue a ruling on a lawsuit that was filed by the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago to block the troop deployment.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem waging a war of words with officials in Portland, Oregon. Here's what she had to say about it on Fox News.
And that is what is shocking to me about these leftist politicians, just how they ignore the people who elected them, jeopardize their safety, and continue to disrespect our law enforcement officers. So one of the things I've been dealing with all day here in Portland is a bunch of pansies that are elected into political office who won't make a decision to keep their citizens safe.
Noem visited Portland on Tuesday, spending time at the city's ICE facility that's been the site of protests for months. The secretary met with DHS personnel and joined in prayer with officers at the facility. Portland has been the latest target of President Trump's campaign to deploy U.S. troops in cities run by Democrats. On Sunday, a Trump-appointed federal judge blocked the deployment of the National Guard to Portland, saying there is no, quote, rebellion in the city, as suggested by the president.
Toyota is recalling nearly 400,000 vehicles over a malfunction with the rear-view camera. It affects certain Tundras, Tundra hybrids, and Sequoias. All of them involved in the recall were manufactured between November of 2021 and July of this year. The 14-inch multimedia center display screen could go black. If this were to happen while in reverse, the vehicle may not meet a federal safety standard, and there can be an increased risk of a crash. Customers can bring their impacted Toyota into a dealer to get the problem fixed at no cost.
10:08, the guy who never has car problems, Mark Risky.
Don't know anything about that.
Sore subject.
Sore subject, believe me. Okay, in the weather, things are going to be looking pretty good for the next, at least today. But then after that, we could get some rain and thunderstorms. Rain will be good, too, and it'll be a warm rain because it's coming up from the south, being fueled by that hurricane, which is just off the coast. And our surf should be way, way up when that hurricane starts to get close to us. It's still a Category 1, but by the time it hits, it won't hit in the Los Angeles area. It'll hit well south of us, but we'll still get a lot of energy from it. 1 degree cooler than yesterday at this time. 75%, that's your relative humidity. Still overcast in most areas, but these are the hours, the magic hours, where things start to break up between now and, let's say, 1 o'clock. 77 yesterday, average is 80, 98, record set in 1971. This is what we're talking about. Priscilla, off the coast right here. It is a 1. It'll turn into a tropical storm before it makes landfall, and you can see it makes landfall in Mexico, and it doesn't hit our area. But with all that energy, you can expect some rain to spill over. Plus, we have some cold air coming in from the north. You mix the cold air with the warm air from the south, and that's what gives you the chance of those thunderstorms. And at times, rain could get a little heavy. Today, mid-80s, pretty well all across the board. Some areas just at 80. Then when you get to the beaches, 70 at Manhattan Beach, right here in Oxnard, 73. Santa Barbara, 74 degrees. Inland Bellflower, 77. Bell at 78 degrees. Orange County beaches, looking at 71s. 69, a little bit cooler in Laguna Beach today, and the Point at about 69. And once you get inland, you're about 10 degrees warmer, 9 to 10 degrees warmer, 78 for Santa Ana and Irvine. Inland Empire, 82, 83, 82. These areas, possibly some early morning rain. That's pretty well probably done with. 97 degrees in Palm Springs. And as far as the 7-day outlook goes for Ventura County Inland, 78 for today. Tomorrow, clear. Ventura County probably won't get that rain. They're a little too far north to get that rain. As far as the Santa Clarita Valley goes, same story, but we have a secondary system coming in on Tuesday from the north. They could see some showers from that. Los Angeles, we could get some rain and even some lightning storms. We get a clear weekend and then back into the rain on Tuesday. So the weekend is kind of sandwiched between two different systems. 87 in the Inland Empire. It's a pretty well assured that you're going to get rain at times heavy. 86 to 87 degrees. 80s, clear skies over the weekend. And then once again, that second system coming out of the north heading into Tuesday with rain. Frank and Jessica, back to you.
Mark, thank you. Coming up, the cities most impacted by high grocery prices.
Plus, the Halloween heist, the search for a thief.